Many great ancient civilizations vanished into history after reaching their zenith. The glory of the Persian Empire faded. The collapse of the Western Roman Empire left no cultural legacy. The Mongol Empire turned to dust, and the British Empire ultimately retreated to its home islands. Ancient powers like Babylon, the Aztecs, and the Incas collapsed, leaving behind only historical records and archaeological ruins. Yet, Chinese civilization stands alone. Through over 5,000 years of trials, it has survived in an unbroken lineage, continually renewing itself amidst changing eras. Throughout recorded history, China has endured countless dynastic cycles, political fragmentation, foreign invasions, massive natural disasters, and deep social upheavals. Crises of this magnitude wiped out almost every other ancient civilization. Following the fall of the Western Roman Empire in 476 AD, its entire civilizational system was shattered. But Chinese civilization is the sole exception. Following the Han Dynasty, China endured nearly a century of warfare during the Three Kingdoms period. Though society and production were devastated, its cultural lineage remained intact. Upon reunification under the Sui dynasty, the unified Chinese script was still in use. Shared cultural memories endured, and core concepts of governance and civilization continued to evolve. This historical thread remained unbroken. After every period of chaos and division, forces consistently emerged to drive the nation back toward unity, preserving China's cultural core, national identity, and historical narrative. Historians have identified three core pillars acting as the ballast stones that consistently sustain and advance Chinese civilization. The first pillar holding Chinese civilization together is its unified writing system, Chinese characters. Language fragmentation often leads to a fractured civilization. In Europe, distinct languages like French, German, and Spanish naturally built barriers between cultures. China solved this root problem over 2,000 years ago when Emperor Qin Shi Huang standardized the script. People living thousands of miles apart, speaking mutually unintelligible dialects, could read the same books and exchange ideas using the same characters. This forged a shared cultural bond across all regional borders. Even during violent eras of national division and regime change, this unified script never died. Scholars in rival states could still read classical texts written centuries earlier. They shared the same cultural references and values, creating an identity that political chaos could not break. When Rome fell, Latin splintered into separate languages, and the shared foundation of their civilization crumbled. Meanwhile, though Chinese characters evolved over millennia, their core meaning-based system remained unchanged. Today, people can still read classics from over 2,000 years ago, guarding the core code to their cultural heritage. The second pillar is the mandate of heaven, a people-first political concept running through ancient Chinese history. This was not the divine right of kings. The core idea was that heaven has no favorites, supporting only the virtuous. If a ruler lost his virtue, causing starvation and endless war, he lost the mandate of heaven and his legitimacy to rule. This forged a unique logic of governance with a natural pull toward grand unity. Only a ruler who unified the nation and brought peace to the people was considered a legitimate heaven-ordained government. This deep pursuit of unity created a strong civilizational gravity. The third pillar of China's survival is an elite governance system and the scholar official class, which lasted for over 1,000 years. Most ancient empires relied on military force or hereditary nobles to maintain control. But by the Sui and Tang dynasties, China had already built a system to select government officials through civil service exams, known as the Keiju. To enter the government, you had to pass exams based on Confucian classics, historical texts, and statecraft. This system did more than just give poor, hard-working students a ladder to climb the social ranks. More importantly, it bred a nationwide class of intellectuals, the scholar officials, who shared the same values, cultural understanding, and ideals of governance. Even when a dynasty collapsed, this class didn't disappear. They were scattered across the country, deeply familiar with historical governance and institutional logic, protecting the core blueprint of civilization. Whenever a new regime wanted to stabilize its rule, it had to rely on this exact class of people, continuing the core systems and bringing back the civil service exams. This is exactly why, despite constant dynastic changes, China's core governance and civilizational soul remained a single, unbroken line. Other ancient civilizations failed to bounce back because they never built this unified, cross-cultural identity and governance system. After Rome split, Germanic tribes didn't restore its system, and Europe adapted to being divided. The Mongol Empire was held together only by military conquest. Lacking a unified script, bureaucracy, and ideology, it quickly fractured. Persia revived several times, but its civilizational core had fundamentally changed. In contrast, China's cultural and identity core stayed rock solid. Even when foreign conquerors took control of the Central Plains, they were ultimately assimilated by Chinese civilization. Both the Yuan and Qing dynasties adopted the governance systems and cultural traditions of the central dynasties, becoming part of the ongoing story of Chinese civilization. In modern history, China went through a century of unprecedented hardship, a period that made the rest of the world think Chinese civilization might finally sink into oblivion. From the 19th to the early 20th century, China faced severe national crises. Defeat in 2 opium wars reduced China to a semi-colonial, semi-feudal society. Western powers rushed to carve up the country, dividing it into spheres of influence and seizing massive privileges. The 1911 Xinhai Revolution overthrew the Qing dynasty, ending over 2,000 years of imperial rule, but it couldn't pull China out of the mud. The country fell into the chaos of warlord battles, followed by the devastating invasion by Japanese militarism. The Chinese nation was pushed to the absolute brink. From the Opium War in 1840 to the founding of New China in 1949, China endured over a century of foreign invasions, collapsed governments, warlord chaos, and an all-out war of resistance. The economy was near collapse. Infrastructure was destroyed by war, and tens of millions of compatriots lost their lives. The Chinese nation suffered unimaginable agony. At the time, Western powers generally assumed China would permanently fracture and never recover, much like parts of Africa and the Middle East that fell into endless war after colonial rule. But history once again proved the sheer resilience of Chinese civilization. The Communist Party of China led the people to overthrow the 3 mountains of imperialism, feudalism, and bureaucrat capitalism. In 1949, they established the People's Republic of China, achieving national independence and the liberation of the people, opening a brand new era for the development of the Chinese nation. After tough explorations in the early years of the Republic, the second generation of the party's central collective leadership made the historic decision to open up and reform in 1978. This launched a completely new phase of economic and social development. Today, China has completely transformed, rising to become the second largest economy in the world. This isn't just a simple repeat of history. It is an entirely new evolution of Chinese civilization in the modern era. Chinese people have always held a firm, unwavering belief in national unity and rejuvenation. This stems from the collective memory and historical narrative carved into the very bones of their civilization. The Chinese historical view always carries a sense of crisis, the idea of surviving in hardship and perishing in comfort. It also carries a spirit of innovation, believing that even an ancient nation must constantly renew itself. Beaten by storms, it remains unyielding, always believing that after immense suffering comes a glorious revival. This bone-deep resilience is the core spiritual password that has kept Chinese civilization alive for thousands of years. The century of humiliation in modern times is a shared historical memory for all Chinese people. Remembering this history isn't about keeping hatred alive. It's about learning from the past, striving for strength, and deeply understanding the hard truth that falling behind leaves you vulnerable to attack. It builds a powerful, united force to achieve national rejuvenation. Western countries once assumed China would just copy the Western development model. But history has proven that China always insists on walking its own path, drawing wisdom from its own excellent traditional culture. Every historical test has only made China more certain of its direction, allowing the core of its civilization to be inherited and developed in a new era. Entering the 21st century, the world is going through massive changes not seen in a century. China faces new challenges: shifting population demographics, environmental protection, a complex global economy, changing geopolitical landscapes, and fierce international competition in technology. The millennial wisdom of Chinese civilization tells us this: true resilience isn't about never falling down. It's about having the courage and ability to stand back up, no matter how fierce the storm. Chinese civilization has endured because a unified script, the ideal of a grand unity, a mature governance system, and a resilient national spirit formed a complete system of cultural inheritance. This system allows it to find new life, even after thousands of years of weathering the storm. When you understand this resilience, you unlock the spiritual password that has carried the Chinese nation across millennia.